After a few weeks at home, time to venture back out on the road. The Huskies of Northern Illinois, the opponent this week. Walk us through a rainy Kent State game, and now turning your attention to going and playing a Husky team that's had your number over the years.
Yeah, so going back to the Kent State, we really challenged ourselves with trying to stack victories. Fellas always responded well after losing to Central Michigan with the Ball State game, but then when you feel good about getting a victory and playing better, can you go back to work and be hungry and determined to get better and do it again and do it better. And even though we got the victory, we don't really feel as though we met the challenge in some ways. So there's always, winning's hard, and so there's always things to celebrate with that. But then again, the higher goal, the higher purpose is to really play to the level that we're capable of playing. And when you fall short of that, there's definitely an emptiness. So this will be a tall task. It's a long road trip, and they're playing at a really high level. Just knocked off the team that was playing the best in the MAC. Most points scored in the MAC. A suffocating defense. It starts with their defensive line, so this would be a huge challenge for us this week.
Rob, would you like to lead us off?
Okay, I'm Ariel, Coach. Hey, I have a question on the last game on an outside kick. I've talked to some college officials, and they couldn't tell me why that was being reviewed. I don't understand why. What were they reviewing? Did they tell you?
No. Yeah. I have no idea. I have no idea.
They didn't tell you why they're reviewing it. It's crazy.
No, yeah. So sometimes the officials, sometimes the officials on the sideline, even though they have the communication system, they're not told why it's being reviewed. Sometimes it's obvious, and sometimes they don't know, and I guess it's not their fault that they don't know. But yeah, it was not told.
And the other thing I was going to wonder about the game, and this is, I know what you said, it's so hard to win. To get a win at any level is difficult. I was just wondering a little bit about the fourth quarter when you got up 20-7. I thought you'd go into the Pac-Man mode a little bit, trying to eat some clock, but you were still throwing the ball quite a bit on two different possessions. Was that your decision, or was that Coach Pike? I mean, did you guys discuss what you want to do in that situation when you were starting deep in your own end, but yet you were still throwing?
Yeah, so if you remember, we had the ball after the onside kick on the 3-yard line. I believe there's a little over 6 minutes left in the game. We ran the ball on first down and got less than a yard. And we really wanted to get the ball out of there and would have preferred to run it. But we also, at that point, I was still, to be honest with you, in the mindset that, wanted to get our offense going. And, yeah, I was not, I don't know how to say this. I knew that we were going to win that football game.
Okay.
And, wanted to get our offense, which struggled, going all the way, to the very end. I mean, obviously in the last possession we took knees, but we had a huge opportunity on that second down, throwing the football that didn't come to pass. But wanted to get a first down.
Well, that's the answer I wanted to hear, that you were comfortable enough in your situation that game that you could call the plays how you wanted to call them. You weren't necessarily calling for the situation of trying to run the clock down in that situation.
Yeah, I wanted to move the ball and kill clock that way. But yeah, our plan was not to run it, up the middle 3 times, and then punt it away.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your defensive line play. It looks like it's becoming more stout. You're getting some personnel back. Alex Merritt will be with us here today. Played outstanding. Sparasio, once again, is all over the field. Chase Klein. Let's talk about that. One I really want to talk about is Micah Coleman, because he comes off the bus. You look at that body, you think he's just going to create havoc. And the consistency of his play, I know you don't like to talk about individual people, coach, a lot, but talk about Micah, maybe the good and then maybe the expectations that you have for the possibilities that he presents.
He's really talented, and he is nowhere near as good as he can be. His length and athleticism just gives him a huge advantage, and he's really figuring out how to play that position right now, and so he's been really effective. But I think the biggest thing about Micah is that he's got serious growth potential, and I know that he's doing really well in terms of pressures and sacks, in the conference right now. But he's nowhere near as good as he'll get.
Okay, looking ahead to Northern Illinois. Can you hear me well enough? I'm almost eating my microphone here today.
Yeah, I can
Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's talk about Rocky Lombardi. I think I played against him. I'm not sure. It seems like he's that old. He's been around. He's an experienced quarterback who really gives him an advantage. Talk about what he presents defensive problems for you.
Well, the first thing is we just think he's a tough winner. And whenever you're facing a quarterback, someone who's going to be touching the ball essentially on every snap, and the guy's a winner and he's got toughness and just a genuine competitor, that's a challenge. He's got a really strong arm. He can make all the throws, and but the thing about Rocky is he's just a tough physical runner as well, and makes really good decisions in the run game. And they're really creative. They give you so many different looks, formations, bunch of different eye candy, personnel groups, and then when you couple that with a quarterback that can carry the ball, it makes it difficult.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Dave Skricky, you want to sneak in?
Hey, Coach, can you talk about your defense's ability to force turnovers?
Yeah, so coming into this game,
Saturday.
I'm sorry, can you hear me okay? So
Did you hear the question?
I did, yeah, I did.
Okay.
So coming into the game, Kent State had lost 0 fumbles for the year. They were number 1 in the country. And so, definitely a point of emphasis for us every week is to take away the ball, and a little bit more of an extra, challenge in that they had never lost a fumble. And so our guys, I thought, were really, really ball aware, and to, try to be objective, but out of the 3 lost fumbles, 2 of them were takeaways. Hard to argue that the one was, our doing, but the other 2 were really, really, really well played, by our defense and critical, to the outcome of the game. So it was an awesome job. And, when I think you had a stat, Greg, is it now maybe 43 out of 46?
43 out of 46.
Of our last victories, we'd won or tied the turnover ratio. So it's, not 100% foolproof, but it's a, pretty consistent indicator for success. And we certainly put a lot into that both ways. And, we're not perfect. We dropped 2 or 3 picks. We put the ball on the ground. So got to always work at it, but our guys take great pride in it. And, we are incessant with talking about it and coaching it throughout the week.
Thanks.
Yep.
Alex?
Coach, at halftime you guys were leading, but obviously you couldn't have been happy with how the offense was playing though. Was there kind of like a certain message to get your guys going to say, hey, let's really come out strong and efficient this third quarter?
Yeah, it was the first play of the game, right? We returned the onside kick for a touchdown. Offensively, we did not get a first down until the 5-minute and 18-second mark left in the half. Thankfully, that when we got our first down, we got more. We moved the ball down the field and scored. So our guys and we as a staff knew that we were capable, but we sure weren't, executing and getting it done. So halftime, was not, ranting and raving. It was more talking about scheme and the fundamentals and what we were going to do in the second half. It was not a case of our guys needing to be, woken up or, anything like that. So, it wasn't a very, very good start.
At left tackle, you were without Mick Revelinski, but in with Chris Mayo. What's kind of the status with Revelinski, and what have you seen out of Chris Mayo since he's transferred in?
Yeah, so, Mickey, we'll get a report this afternoon from our training staff. But Chris Mayo was really his first action here. Transferred from West Virginia last January, and really talented, and obviously has been here now long enough to, know what he's doing and know his scheme, and we've been excited about him all the way through, and was excited about him getting an opportunity, to get out there and to play, and he's got to get better. And again, first time actually really being out there, maybe in his career. I think he may have played a little bit at West Virginia, and but overall, we were pleased.
NIU obviously coming up. For the new guys that you have to coach that are coming into this program for the first time, that maybe haven't seen NIU before and haven't played NIU in DeKalb, how do you kind of, let them know, hey, this is the challenge you're up against. Like, this isn't just like, a good MAC school. This is like the premier MAC school you really don't want to play on the road, plus knowing your experiences there too. How do you kind of introduce all that to them?
Yeah, we certainly have, great respect for their program and what they've accomplished through the years. There's no question. At the same time, we're confident and believe in our guys, and don't know that we're going to approach this any differently. We show the guys the film, right? And they see talk about the scheme and what our plan is, and go through personnel. And they've got good players, and they're well coached for sure. Again, I think they just beat the team that had been playing the best in the conference, and really played well. But our guys are going to be ready to play.
And NIU, of course, coached by Thomas Hammock. He loves to make monsters out of running back. He's a former running back himself. Ontario Brown, he's having a great year right now. What kind of they get really creative in creating all those run plays that they have and all those explosive runs. What have you seen out of coaching against Thomas Hammock before, and what are you kind of expecting to see out of the run game this time?
I think it'll be more of the same, and that does not mean the same personnel group, same formations, and same plays, but they're very creative. They're very good. Again, lots of eye candy. Got to have great eye discipline, and got to make sure that our plan can adjust to things that we haven't seen before, and to our guys being ready again for. I think Coach Needham just told me that they've counted, it was either 24 or 26 different personnel groups. It's a lot. And again, they do a really good job, and number one's a great back. And you're very rarely a great back without a really good offensive line, and like I was talking about, the quarterback definitely aids their run game in that way, and then, he can throw it. They've got guys who can run on the outside too, so they're an explosive offense, very difficult to figure out and to contain, for 60 minutes. So we're putting the plan together right now.
Thank you.
Blake?
Coach, I want to touch back on the Kent State game really quick. There was a play in the second quarter, I believe, 3rd and 5. Kent State had rushed 3, dropped 8, still got some pressure. You guys couldn't convert. I know the offensive line's a little banged up. They've struggled a little bit. What adjustments do you think you need from the offensive line to kind of get over that hump of converting?
Yeah, there's we had quite a few new faces on the offensive line. We came into the season thinking that was probably about 9 guys on the offensive line that were above the line that we felt comfortable that we're going to be able to play, and we're ending up using that entire group, and so it's always a combination of getting better just at your fundamentals and your development and with what we do, and then how that applies to whoever you're playing. So with a number of guys playing for the first time, it's a little bit more of the case of, hey, just playing for the first time and getting used to that and improving on fundamentals and techniques. So it was it's always a combination of reasons when an offense isn't clicking, and the offensive line is a group that very rarely gets credit when things are going well because they're doing their job, and then when things don't go well, it's easy to poke holes. But we believe in our group, and we have guys who are gutting out, playing that are banged up, and hopefully we'll be able to get some guys back as things progress. But it's not a game that we were proud of offensively at all.
And then Austin Smith, obviously, he's struggled at times this season. He's picked it back up, though. We've seen a little bit with his mobility, the ability to make some plays on the ground with his legs. Has there been any thought to kind of implementing any QB run designs for him in the offensive game plan?
Yeah, no, we have those. Yeah, and have done some of that.
And so now heading into NIU, they like to pace the game offensively with their run game. Alex just touched on Antonio Brown, his ability to make plays, his explosiveness. How do you guys contain that defensively?
Well, again, it's a tall task. They're leading the league right now in points scored. And I just mentioned, they just beat Ohio, who's playing some of the best football. And then they lost to Toledo early, but Toledo's playing really good football. And that was a high-scoring game both ways. So I don't know that anybody in the league has really contained them or stopped them. But it does start with the run game. And, again, it starts, with having a plan that our guys can be confident in and play fast and play really hard without getting caught up in all the different looks that they give us. And then again, if you can't spend all of your concentration and time and effort on the run game because they're very capable of explosive plays down the field as well. So we're putting that plan together, but it will always start with the inside out and containing the run. Again, we're confident in our group. We think we're playing good defense and know it's going to be a great battle.
Guest today is Alex Merritt. Certainly, Player of the Week honors is a great accomplishment, but the ability to battle back, overcome last year, losing him, and seeing him come back now, what does that say about his work ethic?
Yeah, it's awesome. And, I don't know if it'll come through, right now or not, but, he is, this season matters to him. It's an obvious statement, but, he's really worked hard. He's been a great leader on the defensive line, and and on the defense. And being out for the vast majority of last year, you know, he's really soaking up every minute, you know, of every game. And because he missed a little bit early, and is just, you know, one of those guys that is not going to be denied. And obviously had a monster game, and you know, the league rewarded him. Our team did last night. Our captains, you know, on Sunday evenings, choose a guy to put the placard of the next opponent up on our wall, and they chose Alex, and it was a great choice.
Awesome. Alex, your turn.
All right. Here we go. Go get him.
All right. Rob, would you like to lead us off?
What's that? Did you ask me?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I was in a similar position to you when you have a pretty tragic type of injury, a serious injury, and the ability that you came back and the focus that it took. Is there any time in your rehab you thought, I may not make it back?
No. I mean, it's a tough question because, I mean, anybody who's been through an injury like that, there's definitely some hard days. I mean, there's good days and there's bad days. It's important I try and help people out that are going through this currently on our team, and people that I know just outside of this team. I tell them all the time, you're going to have some really good days and you're going to have some really bad days. And yes, I'm sure there are days that you think like, man, this is going to be tough to get back, but it's important to just take it one day at a time and just keep your mind at ease and go after your goal, set your goal. And I mean, even on those bad days, just focus on what you're trying to achieve.
I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Is your mind pretty much injury-free now when you're playing? Do you still have thoughts at all? Think, oh, you know, can I do this? Can I do that? Or are you clear thinking?
No, I'm clear thinking. This was my first week back, probably at full health this season. So I felt really good to be back out there. I mean, all I've thought about for over a year now is I just want to go out there and do what I love and play football with my guys. So it felt really good to be back out there. I'm clear-minded, and this is just a start for me, for our team. We got a big week coming up to achieve what we want to achieve. It's a humongous week, so very excited.
A lot of pressure on the front this week, I believe, with the running attack that Northern has. You're going to be the first line of defense, obviously. You have the linebackers behind you in the secondary, but you want to take on this challenge, the defensive line, because you're getting healthy. We got you back. That's huge. And, you know, we're getting some other people back and getting healthier. You take this personal now as a challenge by a great running team?
Yes, 100%, no doubt. Even, I mean, right after the Kent State game, when we were just doing our post-game locker room talk, brought up the D-line and just said, get your bodies right, get mentally ready. I played against NIU in the past. Like Coach Creighton said, we believe in our guys. We know it's going to be tough, but we'll be ready mentally and physically. So we're very excited for the challenge. We know that this game's going to be won and lost in the trenches, so we're very excited.
Well, we're very excited to have you back, Alex. Congratulations on winning the MAC Defensive Player of the Week. Well deserved.
Thank you.
All right, Alex.
Alex, thanks, you know, you made a lot of plays like really early on in your career, and then obviously like the past 2 years, you know, this year you had some injuries. Last year, pretty much all of last year you were wiped out. But these are kind of the years where like you want to like have like your leadership roles kind of step up too, but you want to also do that on the field.
Yeah.
How did you kind of balance trying to be a leader, but also know like, you know, you're only on the sidelines the whole time? Like, how did you see your leadership role kind of grow at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough. I'm not going to lie. At first, it's really hard when you're not out there doing what you love. But we had more last year, we had a bunch of guys who hadn't played too much, hadn't played as much as me. And, you know, it's just important when you care about something, you try and find every way you can to help. And that's really what I just focused my mind on. I would do treatment and then come down and watch film with the guys and just help in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah.
You know, for the defensive line group, obviously you stood out this past game with 8 tackles. But for as a unit, you know, only like a handful of tackles for losses and sacks. 17 quarterback hurries officially. Like, obviously, you guys are really getting after it. What does a game like that do for your position group?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels good, like today, yesterday, but at the same time, you said hurries. We don't go out there looking for hurries. We want to go finish plays and make plays and win football games. So it is good because we know what we can accomplish, but at the same time, it's not satisfying. We're still very hungry to do a lot more. And like I said, this week, we're going to have to be very good to go out and win this football game. So we're excited for the challenge, and we want to go win this game as a defensive line group.
Definitely, yeah. And my last one, with NIU, their O-line group is really, really coached really well. Their O-line group, you know, that coach has not only done well at NIU, but at Buffalo before there too. What are you expecting to see out of their offensive line, and how do you plan on stopping them?
Yeah, like I said before, I've played against NIU twice, and both times it's a physical football game. I know they're coached well just from playing against them and playing against other guys. They're very physical, and that's really what I expect. I expect it to be a war. I expect it to be very physical, and I expect them to run the ball a lot.
Thank you.
Alex, I just want to touch a little bit more on just getting back from that injury and, you know, just the mindset that it takes to stay afloat. Because obviously, especially in college football, with an injury like that, they're never, you know, ideal. They're never good. So, you know, what's that, you know, mindset throughout that journey of getting back? Because you know, you got to push yourself harder at that point now to get back onto the field and you know, do the things you're doing now. So, talk to me just a little bit about that mindset and that journey of staying afloat.
Yeah, that mindset can be summed up by just saying one day at a time. Because when you look at it from, you know, I got hurt in week 2 of last year, and when you look at it from, I won't be out there for a year, the task seems so big. But when you focus on it as one day at a time, get better every day, and focus on what you want to achieve, that sums it all up one day at a time, and set your goals and just go after them, because it'll make you better as a player and as a person.
And then now, just how does it feel being out there with your guys, you know, succeeding on the field, you're back defensive player of the week now, how does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. It feels good to mostly just to be out there playing football with my boys, and yeah, I mean, like I said, we're still very hungry. I'm very hungry, but yeah, it does feel good to, you know, go out there and play football, because that's what I love to do.
And then now with NIU on the clock, you guys have obviously, you know, struggled this year at some points throughout the season defending the run. There's been games where teams have, you know, outplayed on the offensive end, totaling more yards than you guys. What you guys need to do now this week, especially with, you know, the mindset in the locker room, to, you know, contain NIU and defend their run and stop their offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, like Coach Creighton said earlier, I've watched some film. They give a lot of different looks, a lot of stuff like that. For me, I can control what I can control, and I can just play physical. Same with the D-line. Like, we just need to have a very physical game, do our job, and we trust our guys. We trust everyone. Trust the linebackers, DBs, safeties. We trust the offense. So it just comes down to executing, really. That's all. We're going to get our plan later today, and it comes down to just executing our plan that the coaches give us.